Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Learn English with Football. And today I'm joined by Clive, the West Ham
Right.
fan. How are you doing?
Very well, thanks, Yannick. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. And as you know, I have a
Mm,
soft spot for West Ham. So
Of course, yeah.
yeah, I want to support you.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's the one you bought at the stadium.
Exactly. That's when we met,
Perfect.
met up at the London Stadium and went to the merchandise store together. And that's the one.
Yeah,
But
excellent.
of course, I'm also happy about the Arsenal team these days. I have to mention that
Yes,
too.
of
But
course, of
but
course.
I don't think we are going to talk about Arsenal much because today we have you, Clive.
Mm,
This is your YouTube channel, Greenstreet Elite.
Yeah.
Have have you recorded any videos lately there or?
Yeah, I've done a couple of new interviews which I call the In Crowd. It's talking about West Ham to the fans. It's like we invite a West Ham fan in. They talk about how they got into supporting West Ham,
Yep.
etc. So I've done a couple of those just recently. Both of them have never done YouTube before. One of them was my good friend Peach's dad. Unfortunately, as you know, Peach passed away.
It was
Um,
one of the fans, West Ham fans from the online community from Canada, I believe.
Correct, yeah, he was from Canada and he had his own YouTube channel called West Ham Random.
Right.
Um, and so unfortunately he passed away. But
Yep.
I spoke to his dad because I'd taken a little break from putting any content on my channel.
Hmm.
Um, and to bring the channel back to life, as it were, I thought it was only fitting that I brought Peach's dad Barney in.
Hmm.
He's got a very interesting story. He grew up with Terry Venables, and I never knew that. Never, Peach never told me that. You know, so kind
So
of crazy.
Terry Venables, you have to remind us that was an English
Uh,
football player, right? Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, he played for a number of teams, including Queens Park Rangers, Tottenham, I believe he played for. Uh, I can't remember the other teams he played for, but he was also an England favourite, and I believe he also was captain for the England squad while he was in it. So
Uh,
you know,
Obviously, he's from the older generation, but even so,
yeah,
that name rings a bell. So maybe
hmm
not such an old generation after all.
hmm yeah. I mean, he has been in management, and he's quite a popular pundit around the circuits.
Mhm.
He's very, very knowledgeable. I'm sure he did England management. I, I, I've, I can't even remember, but I believe he was England manager at one point.
Mm. Mm.
Um, yeah,
Might have been, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was. But yeah, he's a very well-known player, and he was a real
Yeah,
class act on the pitch.
yeah, I bet he was. Okay, well, I'm glad your channel is still alive and kicking, as we say.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I believe we should have one more guest today, and that's Leontes. I think he's finishing his dinner with his
hmm
girlfriend. When a girlfriend is involved, you just have to do that first, I believe,
hmm
before
Especially
you.
if she's cooked.
So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully he will be joining us soon to talk
Mm-hmm.
about Manchester United, his team. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. No, okay. I'm not gonna put it up on screen then. His YouTube channel. Not yet. When he comes. Right,
Okay.
Clive. So this show, it has its tradition here, but since I moved to Vietnam, um, the number of times I have done this show has been a few and far between because it's just a bit harder for me to do it here, and it's also past midnight, and I want to keep keep it going. It's a tradition.
Mhm.
Enjoy
Yeah.
talking to you guys. So hopefully, even if it's a bit more sporadic, hopefully I will
Mhm.
keep going like this. Maybe not every week, but from time to time when there are people to talk to, why not?
Yeah. I mean, I could make a suggestion. You could pre-record them and release them at the time people are normally used to, they're accustomed to.
I could, but there is something about doing it live that I enjoy so much. I
Yeah.
cannot, I cannot help it.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
I agree.
exciting. It's exciting
It's the
because I know
spontaneity.
exactly,
Yeah.
and I know if I slip, if I make a mistake, it will have to stay. It'll have to stay in. You know, I have to be careful what I say.
Mhm.
So I like
Yeah.
that, and also I don't have to edit. I know I'm not going to edit it at all. There's something
Yeah.
about doing it live. Yeah. So if
Mhm.
any of you are watching this live, then please, obviously, you can make comments in the what do you call it in the chat, in the
The
live
live
chat,
chat. Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, you can ask Clive or Leontes when he's here questions about their teams. You can also talk about your teams. And as you know, we have got segments on this show. So let me just quickly go through all the segments we have here, just to remind ourselves of them. So the first one is matches we have seen. Then the biggest surprise, game week highlights. That's when we talk about your teams. Yeah. Hero of the week, your favorite one, I think. Villain of the week, your second favorite one. And then we also talk about the FPL, the Fantasy Premier League. And
Mm,
after that, I release you, and I will just talk about some language as well from the show, just to teach
okay.
a few phrases and idioms. Yeah, that's
No
it. So
problem.
those are our segments. So let's start with the matches we have seen. Right. So Clive, the ball
Okay.
in your court.
Okay. Well, obviously, I watched West Ham versus Nottingham Forest in its entirety. I wasn't actually at the stadium, but I was able to get a link for it for the game and watched it all. And I thought it was quite a good game for West Ham, but we'll go more into that later.
Yep.
I've seen the highlights of all the other games up until yesterday's. I didn't watch yesterday's highlights, but I did watch the Tottenham Chelsea game and I did watch Manchester United and Newcastle United in their
Wow.
entirety.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of inside knowledge this week, much more than me, because I have to tell
Mm.
you that
Some of it gets clouded after about half time in the Chelsea Tottenham game because I was in the pub watching it.
that's okay. Sometimes this knowledge
Mm.
is even better. You have got like this
Mm.
unique perspective
Yeah,
of someone
yeah,
who is slightly tipsy. Maybe it even helps you with
yeah,
forming your thoughts. I don't know. It helps me sometimes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So as you guys know, I try to watch all Arsenal and all West Ham games, but unfortunately, those two teams were playing at the same time. So I had to make a choice, and I chose West Ham this time because I thought Arsenal is too easy, and I knew West Ham were in real trouble. In real trouble.
Yeah.
Hello,
Uh,
everyone.
Hi, Leontes. Are
Hi.
you all right?
Yeah, how are you? How's Vietnam?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Something wrong with your mic. I think you're not using your best mic. I think
Okay.
it's your laptop mic. Um,
Better
sorry,
now?
is much better. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
okay.
one. That's the one we want. Yeah. So we're just talking about the matches we have seen. So personally, I saw the West Ham game, but obviously, I also watched the Arsenal game replay, right? But I chose the West Ham game live, and I wasn't disappointed. I have to say that it was a good choice. And
Yeah.
Leontes, what were the matches you saw this weekend?
I only saw the cup final. Yeah.
Biased.
I mean, doesn't surprise me. I watched like first 5 minutes, but unfortunately my stream was messed up.
Ah.
It wasn't good at all, so I couldn't. It was just not watchable at all. So not because of the way you played, but
It was nice. It was worth it, really.
It was a very good game.
yeah. How was
was very
your
good.
dinner, Leontes? By the way, How
Great.
was your
Thanks. Yeah. It was a very busy day cleaning, so that's why I was a bit late.
That's okay. That's okay. This is your channel. How is it doing, by the way?
Great, actually. Yeah. I noticed that book summaries work very well. Yeah.
Lovely. So you found your niche. That's what you do
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I have to pop in to check those book summaries. I haven't
Yeah.
noticed that you do them. Okay.
Yeah, I upload, I think, 2 or 3 books I've done, and those get the most views. Whereas I really want to make the writing videos. So that's
Okay. Well, you could do this on the side. Like, I don't know
yeah.
to what extent you enjoy it, but it could be something you do on the side just to attract some viewers and
Yeah.
so subscribers. You know, you have some options there.
Yeah.
All right. So let's carry on, and we're gonna talk about the game week highlights now. Oh no, sorry, the biggest surprise first. Okay, so who would like to kick this off?
Go on, Leontes. I'll let you start.
I think Jadon Sancho is a good surprise. I think he has boosted his morale, and I think he's playing very well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
All
Okay.
right then, Sancho it is.
Yeah.
What about you, Clive?
I think the biggest surprise for me this weekend has to be the formation and tactical approach by David Moyes this weekend. I think it was exceptional, and I haven't been able to say that about him in absolute months. So, for him to put on such a fine display of tactical advantages and stuff, he was brilliant. It was brilliant. So, yeah,
Okay.
biggest
Yeah.
surprise for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for me, your result against Nottingham Forest is very close, but in the end, I went for yet another goalless result for Chelsea. They lost to Spurs. It's I don't know, like it's Schadenfreude or something, but I have to say I'm kind of enjoying Chelsea these days a lot. We have
Because they're
seen them.
losing.
We have seen them succeed for so many years, right?
Oh yeah.
It's nice for a change to see them struggle. I'll just say it like that.
Yeah.
You know.
I have the same feeling with Manchester City.
I wouldn't write them
No.
off. Though.
They're not that bad at the moment, but there were
Yeah.
a few weeks where they dropped some points, and I felt, this is
Yeah.
something good.
Yeah, but so did Arsenal. You see, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
Mm.
The league. We can talk about that later. So we've dealt with the biggest surprises. If there is anyone, if you've asked me a question in the private chat if this is live. It is live. Yes,
Okay.
we're recording this live. Yeah. But now let's crack on with the game heat with the game week highlight. So that's the part of the show where I'm going to ask you about your team's performances mainly. Okay?
Okay.
So let's do this. Right. So where do we start? Let's get United out of the way. It's not even the Premier League what we are going to talk about here, but I think it deserves our attention because congratulations, Leontes.
Thank you.
Now I mean it because I respect I respect you as a football fan. So congratulations on winning.
And
the
and it's
Belgian
also
Cup.
the first silverware of the season proper, isn't it? Really,
Yeah.
you know.
And they
So,
have had United have had their fair share of awful time as well. So
Yeah.
I think it's nice to see them do well and to see them do things differently. But that's what we have Leontes here for, because he's the expert. So tell us, Leontes, what do you make of this fantastic result, winning the
Well, to be honest,
League Cup?
I think the final was important. I think it was. It really highlights everything that Ten Hag is doing. It's kind of the cherry on the muffin. I wouldn't say cherry on the cake yet, just cherry on the muffin. And I think he deserves it. I think it's very, it shows that everything that he wanted to do has been achieved until now. I also think it's very exceptional of Newcastle United to end up in the cup final. I think that's something worth mentioning as well.
Yep.
Because for United, it's just it's the Carabao Cup. That's not something that particularly special. But for a team like Newcastle, it's also the cherry on the icing on the cake, maybe. So
yeah.
I think that's something that we shouldn't forget. It's kind
Yep.
of obvious.
We shouldn't forget the actual the way they've been performing in the last sort of year.
Yeah.
You know, they've really done well. And, it's not like they've spent hundreds of millions like,
Not yet.
Chelsea have.
Not
But the money that they have spent, they've spent very wisely on very good players.
Yeah.
And some of those players have probably, halved their value again since they've been at Newcastle, He's transformed that team completely. And he's done it mainly from within. So fair play to them. They've done really well.
That's right. They are the richest club in the world, but you are right that they haven't overspent. However, I would say that there must be so much positivity now around the club, and I think probably the way this feels for the Newcastle fans, it feels like it's just the beginning, because it's all going on the upward trajectory. Let's be honest. They are now,
and they're focusing in on the community around the city as well. They're not just community, not on the stadium and the club. They're focusing in on the whole city.
Yeah.
So they're getting everybody on board, which is fantastic. It really is good because they deserve it. They really do.
It's a traditional club with a lot of history, so like fair enough. We may not be happy about the Saudi owners,
I really hope that United doesn't get bought by people from Saudi Arabia. I really hope it's the British man who, I don't know what his name is, who had his eyes on United for quite some time. I hope he buys the club. I don't think we need foreign investors.
You need someone like Richard Branson or something, don't you? Really?
Yeah.
I'd like him to come in at West Ham. If we would, because our owners have only got until April this year before they got this clause where they can sell and pay minimum tax on the sale. And by minimum, I mean it's like 1% or 3% or some ridiculous amount. Oh yeah, it's a ridiculously small amount. It's a nominal fee.
Still something that would basically cover me for the rest of my life. Even 3%, 3% from the sale of the club. I think I would do quite well for the rest of my life with that. And anyway, let's go back to the Manchester United Newcastle match then. So I saw the highlights. I saw the goals. Casemiro scored the first one. Right, it was a nice header. Casemiro is doing really well. I think he really lifted your team. It was a great signing for you.
Yeah, I have the same feeling with Varane as well. he also plays very well. And I think the best choice Ten Hag has made, and I think this had been coming for a while. So I think it's a good choice that he put Maguire on the bench, that he benched
Oh,
Maguire.
yet again,
Yeah,
there would
yeah,
be
yeah.
no Learn English with football show without Leontes mentioning Maguire.
Yeah, yeah. Well, well, just to be honest, there are no mistakes at the back. Wan-Bissaka can play very high now because he doesn't have to solve Maguire's problems. Varane is playing well. Even Lindelof is doing well. Fred, look at Fred. The last matches playing excellently, especially the one against Barcelona. I think Fred was very important there. So yeah, I mean, this is just one minor thing, but because there are no mistakes at the back, they can play up very high, very at the front of the pitch.
The results speak for itself, right? So it's
Yeah.
like now if it works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So obviously, you know, that's understandable. And I think the second goal, yeah, that was like Rashford. It was an own goal, but Rashford's goal.
Yeah.
That's another player we need to mention here.
Yeah.
Like, how good is he these days? He is amazing.
Yeah. I even
Yeah,
noticed
he's
in
had a
FIFA that
massive
his rating went
resurgence.
up to, I think, nearly 90 now. I think he even surpassed Ronaldo.
Mm.
Is this the best you have seen him play
Yeah, I think so.
in United shirt?
Yeah. I think he was very good with Mourinho as well.
Mhm.
But, he's now the real striker. As
He
soon as
keeps-
he ends up in the number 9 position.
I think that's because Ten Hag has more belief in him
Yeah.
than Mourinho did.
Yeah.
I think Mourinho was kind of working with what he had in his own
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
Whereas Ten Hag's gone, thank God they didn't sell this fella.
Yeah.
I've been dying to get hold of this boy. Do you know what I mean? That's sometimes how things work. It's been it's been a real resurgence for him. And fair play to him. He's got, what was it, 14 goals in 13 games or something ridiculous like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Crazy numbers. Crazy numbers.
He's on fire. You cannot avoid him in the FPL either. Like if you don't have Rashford, you're missing out.
I haven't got him, but that's only on principle. I won't have any Man United players in my team.
That's all right.
I can't have Tottenham either. Hey, yeah.
Okay. So 2-0, comfortable win. No chance for Newcastle in that game. I heard even from the highlights, it looked like they had nothing. So,
but they did play well. I think Newcastle didn't give up. Yeah, especially the beginning of the second half, they were, there were some moments where I thought, this is going to be tricky, but no, United was able to stand strong.
Also, you scored your 2 goals like in quick succession, I think, in the first half. If you go, like halftime talk, it's very comfortable when you're 2 goals up. Just keep it tight at the back. All those cliches.
Yeah.
So it was a nice win for you, I thought.
Yeah.
And great trophy for Ten Hag. You notice how I pronounced? Did you notice how I pronounced it?
Yeah,
Ten
well
Hag.
pronounced. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, Leontes. Yeah. So obviously you're Dutch. Ten Hag is Dutch. So is he also sort of followed in the Netherlands? And is this success? Does it get into the news? And are the Dutch proud of him? And
I think the Dutch were already quite proud of him when he was still with Ajax. And as soon as the rumors started spreading and he was going to United, there was some analyses done about his career and his style. And some people even said, I know that Louis van Gaal told him not to go there because it's such a commercial club. So you shouldn't want to go to Man United. But now in the past few days, I've seen lots of talk shows talk about football shows talk about Ten Hag, his success, um, what it means for him. He did a dance with Martinez. Was it Martinez? And another player, and it was the same dance that they used to do at Ajax. So that's a nice thing, and some people noticed that and talked about it on television.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, that's great. So we have established that Clive is not a big fan of United, but he's also a fantastic football fan with a lot of insight into football in general. So how do you perceive United's resurgence, which is a nice word that you guys have used?
Yeah,
So
I
I'm gonna steal
I
it.
think, yeah, carry on, mate. It's yours. It's part of the English language.
Yeah.
It's I think the resurgence. That's a great word, actually. I think that's thanks mainly to the management and the coaching staff that he's now brought in with him. But it's also a lot to do with him understanding how big that club is, and he hasn't treated like that club. He hasn't treated the club like it's his project. He's there to do a job, and he understands that, and he's basically stamped his authority on the team, but he's sort of kind of leaving business alone. I don't want to deal with the business side of the club. You go and sell what shirts you want. I don't care who you pick up. If you're going to buy me players, I want to choose them, and I want to be able to, have an understanding of their history and their abilities. And I think that's brilliant because they haven't had that kind of management since Alex Ferguson took over.
Yeah.
So,
You know what
I
happened?
think that the mentality of the management has got a hell of a lot to do with what's going on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And when players see that, when players see how the manager behaves, how he has principles, he has integrity, we can see
Mhm.
like the way he dealt. It for me personally, it comes
Mhm.
comes back to that Ronaldo situation.
Yeah.
The way he dealt with it, the way it now it's sort of, we can see the evidence, the Ronaldo aftermath. Yeah, it's going so well. Like since he left, have you lost
Mhm.
again since he left?
I think we only lost against Arsenal.
That's not why I asked
Mm.
you. I didn't even remember that. But yeah, we
Yeah.
win so many games that it's it becomes
Yeah.
irrelevant like who we beat.
But Ten Hag, he's come in and he's done a very similar job in stabilising the club or the team. Let's talk about the team because it's the team that he's working with. He's done a really good job of walking in and stabilising that. He did a similar job to what Pep Guardiola did when he came to Man City. Sorry to balance them against each other, but it's a very similar kind of thing. When Guardiola came into Man City, it was like, let me take care of my business and you do your business. And that's kind of what Ten Hag's done. And for that, he's producing the goods on the pitch, and that's where the business grows when the pitch business is good.
Yeah. No,
And I really think that the way he handled Ronaldo, the way he remained professional throughout everything that Ronaldo did, I think that really shows his character.
Yep.
It gives him the natural authority that a coach of such a club should have.
Yes, and the respect from the players as well.
Yeah. And he gives them
It's okay
chances as
having
well. That's
authority,
also
but if you're
very
not
good.
respected, yeah. I mean, the thing is, having the authority is fine, but if you're not respected, the authority can mean very little.
Yeah.
But he's managed to balance that very well.
Yeah.
Very well.
He earned this. Yeah, absolutely. And now the players, they play for him. It's so important. Like they trust him.
Yeah.
Like they trust him. They trust his tactics. And like now that they are having results as well, it all is going swimmingly for you.
Yeah.
Leontes. So
Yeah.
Well done, well done.
Yeah, it's great.
Yep. Even in the Premier League, you're now in the third place, I believe.
Yep. Yeah.
You got past Spurs and especially Newcastle United, who are now in the fifth place. I
Yep.
think Clive is laughing that Spurs are still there and thereabouts. Like how I don't understand how they can be so high in the table this season. Honestly,
they've had results. They've ground out results,
exactly.
and that's what That's what they say. That's what champions do. They're not champions of anything at this moment in time.
And that's
But-
a nice that's a
but-
nice yeah.
What they are doing is they're grinding out results. They're quietly staying in touch with the top four. And that's the sign of a decent side, unfortunately, and that really sticks in my throat to say that. But
I wanted to get to West Ham because it is the polar opposite this season. We have to say that, Clive.
yeah,
West Ham have been really, really poor. However, it is my pleasure to have you on today, Clive, after a fantastic result against Nottingham Forest at home. You beat Nottingham Forest 4-0, and that's the match I want to talk to you about right now. So,
okay, yeah.
How did you see that game?
Well, when we're awaiting the lineups, which is an hour before kickoff, frustratingly, because we like to sort of dissect it and kind of tweak it a little bit, and we try and figure out who's going to be where and what kind of formation he's going to play. When they release it an hour beforehand, you kind of get you get a feeling of how the formation's going to be. And for far too long, we've been playing the same formation, which is 4-2-3-1. And we've been playing that for far too long. And everybody in the Premier League and a lot of the teams in Europe have actually caught us out now. They know how to defend against it.
Yeah.
They know about our preference for counter-attack football. We allow other teams to have possession. And now other teams have kind of realised that's our chosen way of playing. Now, David Moyes this weekend completely changed it up. He played more or less a 4-3-3 or a variant of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked very, very well. He played young Ben Johnson over on the left and Vladimir Soufal, your countryman, on the right. And I thought he was giving himself a really good shout for man of the match, if I'm honest. Vladimir Soufal. Yeah.
He was substituted in half time though.
At half time, he had an injury. He had a strain, a muscle strain.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought he gave the ball away a few times, so I was like, that must be there is the reason for that. But
but he was still getting his crosses in, and he was still blasting down that right hand side and getting the ball into the box. Okay, so 8 out of 10 of his crosses into the box go to the opposition, but that's not really his fault. That's more our forward players not being in the places where the balls are expected to be. But having said that, he was instrumental in everything that was good on the right hand side on Saturday afternoon. In the first half, Ogbonna and Henriquez were absolutely immense in the middle.
Yep,
they were a solid brick wall, which was quite mobile, but it was really good. And I thought also Thomas Soucek had a wonderful game, breaking into the box and getting close to getting himself a goal.
But the glory, let's say the glory obviously will go to the goal scorers mainly, right?
Yes, indeed. And it was the second half before we did get the ball in the net finally. And then wonderful bit of work from Said Benrahma. Got the ball into our new striker, Danny Ings.
From
or
Aston
Annie
Villa.
or Annie Dings, as we like to call him. And got his first league goal in his first league start as well, actually.
Yeah. Not long after that, a few seconds.
3 or 4 minutes, wasn't it? Yeah, 3 or 4 minutes.
Maybe less than that, yeah.
Less than that, yeah. He managed to get another one. Very similar circumstances, being on the line at the time. Ball played into the right areas, and I'm pretty sure that there would have been more of that had Soufal been able to continue for the second half, because he likes to get the ball into the middle of the box there. And Danny Ings was trying to work his way in. There was a couple of times he got in there, but wasn't able to get to the ball. So, all in all, very, very, very good first half. But the second half was exceptionally good, I thought.
Yeah.
We fought harder. As I said, Danny got his goals. And then Captain got his goal. Declan Rice got his goal, which was beautifully placed. Top bins, as he likes to call it.
Top bins.
Yeah, he got a beautifully placed strike, which is generally if I was to describe any of his goals as passed in goals, like the strike that he hit it with is more like a pass rather than a shot, then he is a lot more dynamic with his shots. When he really blasts at a ball, we're less confident that it's going to even get on target, let alone stay in the stadium, because he can hit the ball with power, but it's not very accurate. But he had a great game. In fact, the whole team had a great game.
Yeah, I was really happy for you. But Clive, I have to talk about this. Like, there were the circumstances of this game where you, if I'm not mistaken, you were one of the teams in the relegation zone. You were
correct. Yes,
yeah.
We were.
You were in the bottom 3, which started begging a lot of questions about Moyes' future. And to be honest, I think a lot of people were surprised, or have been surprised, let's say, that Moyes is still the manager of West Ham United after those wonderful seasons.
None less so than myself.
The 2 wonderful seasons, finishing in top 6 twice in a row, and then this. What's going on? So, and how is he still the manager? I think it's quite interesting that the owners stood by him.
They're fully supportive of him.
But Clive, had you lost that game, would he have been sacked?
I can only surmise. I can only guess at the answer to that. And my guess is that I think he would have been, because no manager can survive this amount of negative return. We're not, we're getting the occasional draws, but it's not sufficient enough,
The fans were turning against Moyes. The fans were turning against Moyes. Like
lots of us, lots and lots of us. Yes.
Yeah, I was watching the channels and right, Leontes.
Yeah.
So obviously you had your situations with managers and sackings and things like that. And so, are you surprised that David Moyes is still at the helm?
Not really. I think I'm more surprised that Brandon Rodgers is still coach of Leicester, because I think West Ham is not a very big club. Sorry, Clive, I don't want to insult. But
think
you know, if you compare
it was
to
it
Man
was it was a
City,
comeback from you. It was a comeback from you.
no. You know, if you compare West Ham to Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, even, you know, those are the clubs that really, you know, if you lose 3 matches, then you're sacked, basically.
Yeah.
I agree with you in that respect. Yeah.
But you know, West Ham has kind of this margin in which they can still trust a coach without needing to really do something. And then again, who would they hire if they sacked Moyes? Was there anyone available on the market
Yeah.
Well,
to
Ole
replace him?
yeah.
Gunnar Solskjaer is one of them.
Oh yeah, was he mentioned?
Solskjaer,
Yeah.
there is no way on earth Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will ever be the manager at London Stadium. Not in a million years. Not happening.
I did see
It's
that
not-
he was.
he's not good enough to be a Premiership manager of any Premiership club.
Oof.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's not. He wasn't very good at United. Okay, he was lucky for the
He
first while, but
He was better
you
than
know,
He was better than Ragnik.
yeah, true. But he still weren't that good, was he?
Oh,
I mean,
didn't think Rangnick was
that
that
would be
bad.
like suggesting that we would have Frank Lampard. No, we wouldn't. We wouldn't have Steven Gerrard. As great as they were on the pitch,
Would you take
in the dugout, they're not.
Patrick Vieira? Would you take Patrick Vieira?
Yes, I would right now, right this minute.
Okay. Well, Leontes, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I
Sorry,
don't
I
think,
would also.
Rangnick was that bad. I think he had a different approach and he didn't get the time, but it wasn't that bad.
Well, he had Ronaldo in the team, so maybe that's what sort of broke his
Yeah.
neck.
Yeah.
You know.
I would also take Vincent Company at West Ham as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Even though he's only just, got his wings, as it were. I believe that he will be a very successful and a manager that players will want to play for.
Yeah. I
Because
also
of
think he
his
would
great
be.
experience as well.
Also, I'm sure he would be a nice fella to go out for beer. He would be an excellent company, I think.
Yeah. Excellent company. Very good.
There was also this Dutch. Oh, what was his name? There was this Dutch coach who was sacked from Ajax, whose name also sang around for a while. I think for West Ham or for Leicester, one of those. Oh, Everton. For Everton, yeah. What's his name? I need to Google this quickly. But yeah, he might be an option as well. But I don't think Dutch players perform very well in the Premier League, to be honest. Well, now we have Ten Hag doing very well, but
he's a manager, though. He's a manager. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. I mean, I think, there are certain managers out there that are obviously not within our reach. As you say, West Ham aren't a big enough club to reach out and grab the kind of managers that the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester City, Manchester United.
Clive, I think you would love to have Pochettino, right? But
Yeah.
he's kind of
there's actually a report that he's apparently said, yes, I would take the West Ham job.
I think he's going to go back.
Now, I think that was probably in the context of, you've been manager at Tottenham, and if the West Ham job was to come up, would you be tempted? And he probably said something along the lines of, yes, I would take the job because I don't have an affinity to Tottenham. I'm not exclusively a Tottenham manager. No. You got to remember where he came from. He came from Southampton.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's not the first or the last person to come out of Southampton's setup that has been very successful and influential in the Premier League. Alan Shearer being probably the most notable. Mm-hmm. He was the highest scorer in the Premier League ever. Still is. So he came from Southampton, So Pochettino was Southampton's manager, when he first came into the English game. So who knows? He
Oh,
might move on to something
he's
really
now
big.
mentioned with or linked
Leontes?
with. He's now linked to Chelsea.
Yeah, he's been linked with a number of teams, I believe. But then, if any team's not linked with him, then the club aren't doing their job right. Because he has really got to be linked with anybody. He's worthy of being chased down by many teams, in my
Absolutely.
opinion. Great manager.
Yep. Okay,
But I
guys.
have to say that I do like Mikel Arteta's style at the moment. Really working well.
Yep. Another
Really
win
is
for
working
Arsenal.
well.
3 points.
Yeah.
Fantastic time being an Arsenal fan, I have to say. And we
Mm.
won't have time to talk. I mean, that game wasn't that interesting anyway, I thought. Well, we were dominant. We had a lot of possession. It was a great display from us, but only one goal. So, actually, there was another goal scored by Trossard, a really great signing from Brighton.
Yeah, and how
But
was that even
that was
chalked off?
disallowed. That was chalked off.
Yeah.
I think there was something happened. Like I think there was a corner or a set piece, and something.
Oh, somebody's elbow was out
Yeah,
over the line or whatever. Ridiculous, yeah.
Tussle, it was a bit weird, yeah.
Great finish, very similar to Declan Rice's finish, actually. Very
I
similar.
would say even better, to be honest, yeah. But yeah,
Well, you would, wouldn't you?
But both well, it doesn't. Well, to be honest, Declan Rice is going to join Arsenal at the end of the season anyway. So I like Declan Rice.
It might happen. It might happen.
It's fantastic that I support these two teams, and the best player of one team might join the.
But just because if he does go there, don't mean to say I'm going to be supporting Arsenal.
But I think Arsenal, you already kind of like Arsenal. Like, come on. You just said you like Arteta. You
It's my favoured side of North London, that's for sure.
There you go. That's enough. I'll take that.
Hmm.
Okay, and let's deal with our heroes of the week. Leontes, you go first.
I think I'll name Fred my hero of the week because he's played well against Barcelona. He played well against Newcastle, so he deserves to get my hero of the week award.
Right, and you don't mean Fred Flintstone. You mean the Fred, the Brazilian player.
Yeah, Fred Rodriguez.
Fred Rodriguez, just to clarify that, the plays for Manchester United.
Yeah,
is a midfielder, right?
Yeah,
center midfielder. Yeah.
Number 17.
And he used to get a lot of stick, I think, under was it Ragnick or even
Solskjaer as well.
Solskjaer, yeah. So it's good to. But sometimes players, they have their word of the day resurgence.
Yeah.
So it's obviously good to see him succeed. So that's a good shout. What about you, Clive? Who is your hero of the week?
I think my hero of the week is going to have to be Said Benrahma. 2 good assists, a really good positive attitude towards the game. Tried really hard to make things work. Yeah, Said Benrahma.
Yep, that's fair. I'm gonna give it to Danny Ings because I think it was his brace that calmed the nerves. It was his brace. Brace means 2 goals. It was his brace that saved David Moyes' job. I really think that. I think he was about to get fired, and now he gets more matches, and hopefully you stay up, because the last thing I want to see is West Ham go down. I think I would probably stop watching your games if that happened, and I don't want that.
I don't have that luxury, I'm afraid.
You are West Ham through and through, so it's different. It's different for you, but yeah, West Ham in Championship would be boring. It can't happen. It mustn't happen. mustn't happen. So, in Moyes we trust again, I guess.
I
And,
suppose. Yeah.
Leontes, do we trust in
Yeah.
Moyes?
Yeah, I think so.
Do,
I think
do you trust Moyes than you trust more than you trust Ralf Ragnick? Sorry, Ten Hag. Ten Hag.
I wouldn't go that far, but no. But I think the thing about Moyes is that he's been there for 3 seasons, 4 seasons now.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
he's shown that he's able to lead this team, and it might be just a bad spell.
Yeah.
You know, it happens.
Oh, yeah.
Liverpool
He's shown that we
better
can,
now.
like, you know, hit higher than our expected target. You know, we can believe in the club, in the team. You know,
Believe in
and
fairy tales.
well, it's not really such a fairy tale.
Well, the fans
It's
started
only
to talk about the
5 more wins out of 15 games is all we
No,
need
no,
to
no, that's
survive.
not what I meant. That's not. I was referring to
Oh.
last season when West Ham fans were talking about the Champions League.
Oh
and,
gosh,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah,
pretty close. Let's
yeah,
be honest. It was quite close. So
yeah. I mean, even if we did qualify in the lower half of the league, say qualify, if we finished in the lower half of the league this season, we still have an extremely good chance of being in the Europa League next season.
yeah, you have to win the.
Because if we win the Europa Conference League,
Yep.
automatic qualification. So, and that takes us straight through to the league stage, I believe, the group stage.
Yeah, I think it won't be easy though, Clive. Like, you
No,
know,
not
this
by any
season-
stretch of the imagination. But the fact is, we've strengthened our squad now. We've got much better players. We haven't got more players than we had before, but we've got a better depth in squad because the players that we have got are more able to replace the ones that we're using as our first 11. You know, and we've got, you know, one of Italy's international number 9s, one of their first choice number 9s for the Italian squad. We've got, you know, one of Brazil's first choice 10/8s, you know, in Paquetá. You know, we've got some really good players. We've got Germany's right back. You know, we've got Morocco's first choice centre back. We've got really good international players now.
Yeah.
And I believe that could help us through the harder games.
And if you play like you played this weekend, and
Yeah.
like, who are we to say that next season you may not be great again? I think you can. If you know everything sort of settles, and the players form good partnerships with each other. I think there are good times ahead. In front of West Ham, but you need to survive this season, and that's still going to be hard because I saw your fixtures, and it's not going to be easy. But fingers crossed. Let's talk about our villains of the week, guys. Leontes.
I don't really have a villain of the week, actually.
You have to name one.
No,
And you cannot name you're not allowed to name Maguire the villain of the week. Yeah.
Okay.
I take that option away from you.
Okay, maybe I'll do Bruno Fernandes then, because he has been playing well, but he's also playing a bit dirty sometimes. You know, he tackles a lot. He adds extra theater where it's not really necessary.
Leontes, I'm glad you finally noticed. I have seen this for many seasons. Yeah.
But it really
Actually,
stands out this
I
season.
like the way you put it, actually. Adds extra theatre where it's not needed. I like that line.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm going to be jotting that one down.
Same, yeah.
And I think it's annoying because then you're 2-0 ahead. Why would you do that? Why would you're already winning, you're already playing well, and I think that ruins the dynamic of the game.
You know,
so
we
I would
haven't
call
seen
him
this.
the villain of the week.
Mhm. Like the opposition team's fans have been saying this for ages, Leontes. We don't like this player because of exactly this. But now that you, as a United fan, say it, that's another level. You're adding another layer to it. So glad to hear this self-critical approach. And
Yeah.
maybe he will change this. I don't know what Haag tells him, but
Yeah.
it's an annoying side to his sort of skill set, which I believe is excellent.
And United's success.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Bruno Fernandes it is. Clive, how about you?
Okay, so mine is Brennan Johnson, Nottingham Forest player. He felt minimum amount of contact and tried to get himself a penalty in the game, and also made Ben Johnson, who was the player that was tackling them at the time, also made him look utterly ridiculous with diving over the top of him, and it looked like a complete farcical. It just looked like a joke. I thought it was ridiculous. It was a ridiculous attempt at getting a penalty, and it was a ridiculous attempt at Ben Johnson, the West Ham player, trying to mask that he'd caught the other player. But they had a really good battle all weekend. All game, those two. But yeah, sorry, Brennan Johnson has to be my Batman villain of the week.
All right. Well, for me, it has to be Graham Potter. They only scored one goal in February. Only one goal in February. Can you imagine? But also in the press conference when he was asked about after the defeat against Spurs, which is a shocking result. How can you lose against Spurs?
Well, he did.
It's absolutely shocking. But he compared him. He sort of alluded. They were asking him a lot of uncomfortable questions, as you would, right? After losing and not playing very well, I think they sort of alluded to the fact that he could face a sacking as well. And I think what he did was that he started talking about the All or Nothing series, and he basically was comparing himself to Arteta. He said, I need to be given time like Arteta did, and I will show you what no, indirectly he was doing that, right? Because he mentioned that. Sorry, but no. Okay, you did well at Brighton, but sorry, but you have to do better, otherwise you're gone. It's Chelsea. You are managing Chelsea. Of all Premier League teams, this is the team that has a history of sacking their managers left, right, and center, right? So
I still don't agree with the fact that they sacked Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, it's complete nonsense. Yeah. But okay, he was a good choice. It's a good choice to buy him out from Brighton. But he's been terrible. It's been horrible.
I'm losing your audio.
Yeah, your sound is.
How about now? Is it better?
Yeah.
Did I turn into a robot or something? Is it better now?
I think.
Yeah, but it sounds.
I think you're having some signal difficulty.
Yeah. Well, you guys talk. I'll just shut up.
I'm going to have to depart soon because I've got an appointment at 20 past. So,
it's just this.
Yeah.
You guys.
I haven't logged in such a long time. I think I'm the bottom of the league.
The last few game weeks I've been saved by Rashford. I even triple captained him, and if I didn't have Rashford, I would be completely completely failing, which which I almost am. But how about you, Clive? Quick word, and then we will release you.
I got 39 points this week, and the average was 39, so I did all right. I had an average week. I did bring in Ollie Watkins this week because I was a bit concerned about the other striker I had in my lineup, so I replaced him with Ollie Watkins, captained him, and got myself 12 points out of him. So, well, really extremely happy with him. I have actually got a Manchester United player in my lineup. It's Luke Shaw. I just thought I'd better admit to that now before anybody else points it out.
I shouldn't even talk. I have Emerson Royale, as you can see.
Yeah, no, I haven't gone that mad.
Yeah.
I've got 2 City players. But,
I actually moved to the 7th place. I think I'm doing quite well this week. Actually, look, I have 50 points already. Yeah,
excellent.
moving up.
I've
Surprise.
gone down to 17th
Well,
in yours.
wow, Clive, what's going on there?
I have no idea. I'm going to have a little look at my fantasy league and see where we're at.
All right, guys. I think that's
okay.
Thank you very much for participating today. It was wonderful.
No problem.
It's fantastic to talk about West Ham and Manchester United. Congratulations again on your wins, important wins. One meant winning a trophy, another one, hopefully, a contribution.
Got us out of the bottom 3, so that's the main thing.
It's a start.
It's contributing towards better league position. Hopefully, it's going to be a start of a resurgence.
Yeah, I hope so. I enjoyed West Ham last season.
And on this note, on the resurgence note, we're gonna say goodbye to our guests. Thank you very much. Thanks to everybody watching the show. Please give us a like. It does help out the channel. You guys can also give us a like.
Yeah.
Guests can also give likes. Yeah. So that's that. Take care, guys, and hopefully at some point in the future I'll have you back here. That would be great.
Great stuff.
Thanks.
Excellent.
Have a good one. Yeah.
Cheers. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Okay, guys, and it's just me for now, and I've got a few words to go through, a few phrases. So I'm gonna have to just copy it because I was writing it in the chat, and then I'll post it as a comment. He is quite a popular pundit. I think this is what Clive said. A pundit is another word for football expert. Often football experts are ex-football players, or in this case, we were talking about Terry Venables, who was an ex-football player, but also a manager, I think. So yeah, a pundit, another word for football expert. Okay, and he is very knowledgeable. That's a nice adjective, quite a long one. Knowledgeable. I think it's pretty self-evident what this means. If you are knowledgeable, you have knowledge in an expert area, let's say. So in this case, we can say someone is knowledgeable in football. Yeah, it's followed by the preposition in. You can be knowledgeable in any sort of field, obviously. Depends on what your skill set and what your profession is. There was a nice little phrase used by Clive, which is in its entirety. Clive said, I watched the West Ham United game in its entirety. And if you rewatch the beginning of the show, Clive used that phrase again when he was referring to the highlights, I believe, of the other games. So in its entirety means the whole game, the whole show, from the beginning till the end. Entire, he watched the entire game, which means the whole game. the full game. And in its entirety is just another way of saying the whole game. Okay, I think it's slightly more formal as well. All right. I asked Leontes the question, what do you make of this fantastic result? Manchester United winning the League Cup. I was referring to that. So this is a nice phrasal verb, to make of, and it's used when you're asking about someone's opinion. Yeah. So if you want to know what somebody thinks about something, instead of asking them, "Hey, what do you think about it?" or "What's your opinion on this?" you can use make of. You can say, "What do you make of this?" For example, I could ask you, "Hey guys, what do you think about this show? What do you like the concept of this Learn English with Football show?" And I could ask you, "What do you make of this show?" instead. Yeah, very nice phrase, a verb. I believe it's used a lot um, in British English. I don't hear it at all in American English. Okay, and I also think it's quite informal too. Obviously, the word of the day was resurgence. I think it was used first in this sentence, which is something I had previously jotted down. However, I cannot remember who we were talking about. It must have been one of the United players, maybe Marcus Rashford. So if somebody has a massive resurgence, that means that that player, it's like renaissance for that player. Yeah, that player is rising again into prominence. That player is good again, right? That player used to be good, then had a bad spell, and now is experiencing a resurgence, meaning he's playing well again. Yeah, so wonderful word. If you rewatch the whole show, you will notice that we have used this word in the show many times because it became a little bit of a running joke there as well. So we wanted to keep using that whenever we could, even at the end of the show, before Clive left, he used the word again. It's a nice little touch there. Right. Leontes used the word analyses, which is, some people don't know it, but it's the plural of the word analysis. Analysis spelled with I. I'm sure everybody knows what analysis is. It's how would I even define this word? Process where you sort of at uh, look at elements or structure of something, you examine in detail something, and then perhaps you evaluate it as well in the end. You study something in detail, let's say, and the plural of this is analyses. Now, why is the plural so weird? Well, that's because this is a word that comes from Latin, and uh, plurals are a bit different when it comes to certain Latin origin words. Uh, Analyses is one of them. It's the same with the word crisis. Crisis, the plural is crises. That's the pronunciation, long E, and the spelling is with ES. Yeah. Crisis, the singular is spelled with IS, the plural with ES. Same with analysis, analyses. Yeah. Okay, so that's cool. And let's see. So I think we were talking about, I think Clive was talking about Ten Hag and how he has managed to stamp his authority on the team. So we were praising him for the way he has been handling the Ronaldo situation and so on. And he has stamped his authority on the team. So imagine a stamp, and if you stamp a document, it will, that sort of paint will stay. Is it ink? I don't know. Ink, paint will stay on the document, right? So that's it's like a metaphor, and it means you sort of exert your power or influence onto someone, onto a team in this case. So your own personality maybe as well. The way you want your players to play, you stamp your authority. The players really become that. Yeah, they are really influenced by your sort of approach, let's say. Okay. Then when Clive was describing Declan Rice's goal against Nottingham Forest, he used the expression top bins. Another word for top corner finish. If you scored a goal in the top corner in British English, you can use the expression top bins. Yeah. Okay. Then I asked Clive, what would have happened had West Ham United had sorry. I asked Clive what would have happened had West Ham United had lost the game again. Sorry, I messed it up again. It's the third conditional. It's a tough one. What would have happened had Manchester United lost the game against Nottingham Forest? Now it's correct. And Clive responded by saying, I can only surmise. And that means, and then he added, I think he would have been sacked. So to surmise is another way of saying to suppose is just more formal, let's say. So I think, I suppose, I believe, but it's, yeah, let's just actually check this word surmise. It's very, very formal. Suppose that something is true without having evidence to confirm it. So it's like suppose or guess, let's say, but just more formal. Okay. And then I asked, this is the last expression I'll be explaining here. I asked Leontes, are you surprised that Moyes is still at the helm? So at the helm, it means another way of saying this would be at the wheel. And that's like where the captain of the ship is sitting at the helm and is steering the ship, right? So the wheel that the captain is handling in order to drive the ship, right? To steer the ship. So yeah, we also use this as a metaphor. If someone is at the helm, that means that person is the captain. That person, not the captain of the team, but in this case, the manager of the team, the main person, the most important person of the club. Which I think the manager is the most important person of the club. You know, at that given point in time, it is really his tactics, right? I should say her, but we don't really have any female managers in the Premier League. So it's his tactics that, you know, often decide the games. So I hope you guys enjoyed this show. It's all from me today. This one has been really long, 1 hour and 13 minutes and 15 seconds. And I think it's time for me to say goodbye. So thank you very much for watching. Once again, if you like the show, please give us a like. And you also feel free to actually use some of these expressions that I have been teaching you here. Feel free to use them in the comments. You can ask more questions or, you know, like make certain statements about your team and try to use these expressions. This is the way to learn. Yeah, it's not enough to just listen to the explanation, especially if it's the first time you hear these words and phrases. What you have to do is to actually start using this language actively. That takes time, but it's not impossible as long as you put in the effort. So start using it when speaking English, or you could just write a comment. So that's another way. And that's all from me. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, bye.